Today's learning should be a schus merit for refuah shalema for Gavriel ben Etel Gita. So we're learning Mishna Nedarim. Excuse me. Parak Dalet, chapter 4, Mishna Beis, Mishna 2. Okay. Now, just a quick introduction here. Even when someone is forbidden by a neder to receive any benefit from someone else, as we say, the person who is forbidden is called the mudar. The person who you are forbidden from is called the madir. So even when a person is forbidden to have benefit from someone, there are still certain things that the person you may not have benefit from may do for you. Because although they are helpful, they are not considered benefits under the laws of Nedarim. So there are certain things that we could call a favor, but that would necessarily fall under the parameters of hana, of benefit, when it comes to Nedarim. And now the Mishnah will give some examples of that. Hamudar hana mechaveroi, someone who is forbidden through a neder to have benefit from his friend. This friend that you cannot have benefit from, shekel eshikloi, he can pay his shekel. As we know, there was a mitzvah from the Torah. It's not relevant now, but there was a mitzvah in the Torah, the times of the Beis HaMikdash, that every person had to give a half shekel towards the Kabbanis Tzibur, towards the communal sacrifices. It's an obligation that every man had to do. Mm-hmm. So now Reuven is forbidden to have benefit from Shimon. Now Shimon wants to basically give the shekel for Reuven. He wants to pay Reuven shekel for him. Wants to give the shekel towards the collection. So he's doing it for him. He's laying out the money. He's giving the money. He's laying out the money for him. It's not a debt. He's giving the money for him. So may he do that? Says the Mishnah, yes, he may. Shekel es shiklai. He can pay his shekel obligation for him. Not only that, upeireya es chayvai. You could even go ahead and pay up his debt. Shimon owes money to someone, and he cannot have benefit from Reuven. Still, nonetheless, Reuven can go and pay up his debt for him. And not only that, he may return to him his lost object. Now, all these things are clearly favors, as we would call them, but they do not fall under the parameters of Hana. So the explanation they give here is the following. By paying his half shekel or debt, the madir, meaning again the person who is forbidden to have benefit from, for this person, allows the mudar, the person who may not have benefit, to keep the money he already has, but does not give him any new money. This is not considered a forbidden benefit. Wow. I'm not giving you anything new. I'm letting you hold on to your money. I'm having this other person not come and demand money from you. That is not called hana, benefit, for these halachas. Because you're not giving him anything new. Now, listen to the next thing that they bring down here. This is permitted only if the madir, meaning again the person who is forbidden to have benefit from, volunteers to pay the mudar's half shekel or debt. Meaning, when the person who is receiving this benefit, so to speak, or this favor, right? The case has to be that the person who you are not allowed to have benefit from, and we say he can pay your debt, let's say, he wasn't asked to do that. You didn't ask him. You, who may not have benefit from him, did not ask him to pay your debt for you. Then we say that there's no hana coming. There's no benefit coming to him from the person who may not have benefit from. If, however, the mudar had asked him to make these payments, right? Then the madar would be prohibited from doing so, because the madar would then be following the mudar's instructions, which is considered a benefit. If the person who is forbidden to have benefit asked that person who may not have benefit from to pay the debt for him, then he can't do it. That he's not allowed to do. Then there is a problem of if he does then follow his directions, that's called that he did give a benefit and he did derive benefit. Because following someone's instructions is considered a benefit. We'll call it a new benefit. It's not just about holding on to something new. You followed my directions. You did something for me, did something new for me, so to speak. That is forbidden to do. Now, The last case is that you can return to him as a lost object. That's not called hana. Why? Because you're giving him back what he owns. He may be very happy that you went ahead and you found it for him, but at the end of the day, what are you doing for him? You're giving back to him what was already his. That does not constitute hana, benefit, when it comes to the laws of the Nedarim. And even if, let's say, this person who found the object, he put a lot of work into it, put a lot of effort into it. So he kind of maybe did beyond what he's obligated to do. Nonetheless, at the end of the day, we say that he put in so much effort to do the mitzvah. That's his doing. So here in this situation where you are doing the mitzvah, returning a lost object, and you're just returning to him what always belonged to him, therefore we say that this is not considered giving him hana. Okay? Right. And they explain, since he simply is giving back what already belonged to him. Now, the Mishnah concludes, Mokem shenoitlin oleh haschar, in a place where they take payment for returning a lost object, hatipal hana lehektish, then we say the benefit falls to hektish. Now, what the Mishnah is saying here is that if we're in it says muck in place, but it really means a case. We'll explain to you what that case is. In a case where they take reward, they take payment for learning lost object, so now, what's going to be? So now, let's examine the case. If the case is that Shimon, let's say Shimon may not have benefit from Ruvain. Reuven went ahead and returned him his object. Shimon pays Ruvain for doing so. Did Shimon have any benefit here? No. He got back what always belonged to him, and he paid Ruvain what he's supposed to pay him. So what's the problem? Why do we say that in a place where, when the Mishnah says in a place where they take payment, the benefit should go to hektish? That means no one should get the money should go to hektish. But why? So the answer is that the Bartanura tells us this last part of the Mishnah is talking about a case where both of them may not have benefit from each other. Not just Shimon can't have benefit from Ruvain. Ruvain can't have Shimon from benefit. They both made a neder on each other. They both forbade having hanut. They both forbade having enough from each other. So now we got a problem. If Shimon pays Ruvain for returning a lost article, who gained? Ruvain gained, and Ruvain's not allowed benefit from Shimon. If Ruvain tells Shimon, it's okay, you don't have to pay me. You don't have to pay him? You basically got free service? Yeah. That's a benefit. That's called a benefit. So therefore, the Mishnah says, in this case, you know what you do? So what you do is, Shimon takes money, right? He takes the money that he'd have to pay for the service. He can't give it to Ruvain because then Ruvain's benefiting from him. So where does it go? It goes to hektish, meaning none of them benefit at the end of the day. If the money that you give towards this, no one has benefit from, right? If at the end no one has benefit by the fact that you're paying money, you don't have benefit because you're losing money. He's not having benefit because he's not going to get it. It's going to land up going to hektish, to the base of Mikdash, so you solve your problem. No one had benefit, and no one transgressed no one transgressed the nether. Now, you could have said, why are we saying the money should fall to hektish? The main point is that no one should have benefit from the money. So the person who has to pay the money, he won't have benefit because he's going to go ahead and take money because of that, and he's not going to have it anymore. He's going to give it away. So why do you have to give it to hektish? Throw it into the ocean. Throw it into the water. Get rid of it. Why are we saying give it to hektish? And if you want to say give it to tzedakah, it doesn't say tzedakah. It says hektish. And the answer is to that because the Mishnah does not suggest getting rid of the money in some other way, because the Madir forbade benefit from him as though it were an offering, which is hektish, sacred property of the temple. When you make a neder, what are you doing? Especially if you say konam, you say carbon, you're trying to say you benefit from you should be forbidden to me like a carbon. Well, if the way that you make the vow, the way that the prohibition works is because you're making a prohibition that's similar to hektish, that the same way hektish, property of the Beis Hamikdash, you cannot benefit from, I cannot benefit from you. So being that this prohibition is a prohibition to be like hektish, so then the appropriate thing to do is give the money to hektish, right? If this neder says don't have benefit because it's hektish, and the way you're not going to have benefit is getting rid of the money, then give the money to hektish. That's the appropriate way of doing it. Now, one last thing that we have to cover is, what do you mean taking payment for returning a lost object? Yeah. You're allowed to take payment? You're allowed to take payment for doing a mitzvah? You have an obligation to do the mitzvah. How can you call it payment? Right? And if the guy decides, I want to give you I really appreciate it, I want to give you a gift. That's a gift. So what does it mean you're paying for it? So they explain it like this. One who finds a lost object is obligated to return it for free and is not allowed to take payment. However, if he takes time off work to return the object, he's entitled to some compensation. So the point is that in a case where he lost out from his work time to go and return the object, that is a case where there is compensation due, and that's what we're talking about, a case where, that's what it means, a place where they take reward. It means a case where payment is taken, because it's being taken as compensation for your lost work. Then we say, that money, where does it go? It goes to hektish, so that no one is benefiting from it. Have a wonderful day, an easy, meaningful fast, and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Well, this is something that's been bothering